This is the time of year for departures. The graduates are off to jobs, service, more schooling. Families are thinking about vacations. Retirees consider travel. The rhythm of life changes as days are longer, kids are out of school, and summer mode kicks in. One of the rituals of this time of year is giving people a copy of Dr. Seuss's famous book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. It's a book for graduates of all ages, from junior high to grad school. It contains words of wisdom about the road ahead. I imagine most of you have seen it. Some may have given it or received it. It's an uplifting book in a Dr. Seuss kind of way. It wouldn't be right for me to read the whole thing, although it wouldn't take long. But here's how it starts. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go. Now, to be fair, the book isn't just blindly optimistic. It goes on to talk about the difficult moments of life as well as the victories, being left in the lurch, falling into a slump. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. Indecision, wrong decisions, loneliness, they're mentioned as well. So although we remember, Oh, the Places You Will Go as a positive and inspiring book, suitable for any graduate, it doesn't avoid the setbacks and pitfalls that face us as we embark on a new journey in life. At this moment, of course, most of us are not embarking on a life-changing departure. But even so, we're at a time in our church calendar that feels similar as we shift from our fall to spring Sunday morning schedule into our more low-key, informal summer schedule of small group get-togethers at 9:30, discussions and preparation for the church year to come. Yes, we will go places and we will do things, but unlike the imagined recipient of Oh, the Places You'll Go, we'll be coming back. So our journey is not outward, but circular. We're not just going places, but coming back and hopefully bringing new things when we do. What I'd like to do today is think about both our time away and our anticipated return. Where are we going? What do we want to return to? Who do we want to return as? When I was a kid, our church did not take the summer off, and even the minister's vacation time was covered by a supply minister, someone from the regional office who came down to fill in. Attendance was usually pretty sparse, what with vacations, fishing trips, camp, and the generally more relaxed attitude of summer. And of course, there was Vacation Bible School, which I remember mainly as an opportunity to run around and howl. But overall, the idea was to keep everything going as usual. The fewer concessions one made to summer, the better. I suspect there was a fear that if people got out of the habit of going to church on Sunday, they wouldn't pick it up again. Nowadays, this attitude seems like a missed opportunity to me, and I've come to appreciate the Quincy Unitarian Church's approach to summer. Our time away from the standard Sunday service is a chance to reflect. Here are some of the things I'll be reflecting on over the next few months. We are parting from each other at a difficult time in the world. There was another horrific shooting just over a week ago, this time at an elementary school. And I haven't properly processed that event or the shootings that have followed since then. It gets harder and harder for me to think about these things. And that's one of the consolations I find in our church services, to be with like-minded people who are grappling with the same things that I'm grappling with, and to talk things through with them. I will miss that during our time apart. And one thing I want to do is think of more ways to keep our dialogue alive during times of separation. Our affirmation calls for us to help one another, and surely the simple act of communication is one of the most basic ways we do that. For many of us, summer is synonymous with summer reading. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. The term summer reading implies books that are not too hard, something suitable for reading beside the pool. But this summer, I'm hoping to read at least one book that I want to come back and share with you in the fall. I don't know what it is, but I hope to find it. Books nourish the spirit, just as food nourishes the body. I plan to eat my share of ice cream this summer, but I also want to enjoy some full, healthy meals too. So think about a subject you've always wanted to learn about, or a book that's been on your to-read list for a while, and bring some thoughts back to share. And we will go places, literally as well as figuratively. One of my cherished summer traditions has been to visit the area in southern Missouri where I grew up, to see the places that meant so much to me when I was little. In recent years, that trip has become more difficult for me, partly because of the pandemic, and partly because of the widening gap I feel between myself and my former neighbors and classmates. Southern Missouri was one of those places where COVID vaccine resistance was high, and people badgered their local school boards and county commissions about masks. Political discussions in that part of the country tend to range from the obnoxious to the downright crazy. But we're all Americans, my former classmates, neighbors, and me. We have to find some way to live together. So this summer I will think about that. One way I plan to think about this summer is through the idea of framing. Most of us have a sense of what framing means. It's often used in a negative sense, as someone tries to frame a debate into terms that are most favorable to their side. There's a more neutral way of thinking about framing, which is simply what words you choose to describe a situation, what you choose to include, and what you choose to leave out. For example, whether we describe an issue in our country as one of illegal aliens or of undocumented immigrants, we're making a framing decision that affects our entire approach to the situation. Or if we describe a problem as one of gun control or gun safety, these choices may be deliberate or they may be unconscious, but we make them all the time, and they make a huge difference in how we see the world. My former friends, my former neighbors, are framing the state of America and the world in entirely different ways than I am these days. So this summer I intend to think about the ways other people frame the issues that matter to me, and how I can connect to them within that frame. This is not to say that I have to agree with them or take their ideas as true, but you can't communicate with somebody until at least you have a common vocabulary. Until you can communicate with someone, you can't expect to be able to change their way of thinking. So that's a modest enough goal to begin with. Being apart from someone or something you cherish is a lesson in what you cherish about it. When we're out of our usual church service for the summer, I recall the things that drew me here in the first place. The people and the events, naturally. The worship service itself, which is both comforting and challenging, something that takes me out of the everyday and invites me to think and feel in larger ways. But most of all, I miss the sense of community, that sense of shared values, shared ways of thinking, the privilege of speaking what's on my mind without fear that people will distort or deliberately misunderstand what I say. A place where we can announce our joys and share our concerns and be guaranteed a sympathetic hearing. We go away and then we return. Both actions can be positive experiences if we approach them with mindfulness. Robert Frost's poem, Birches, expresses this duality in a beautiful metaphor. Looking at a grove of bent birch saplings, he imagines that they have been bowed that way by youngsters who have been climbing them until they bend down to drop them back to earth. The poem ends, I'd like to get away from earth a while and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate willfully misunderstand me and half grant what I wish and snatch me away not to return. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb black branches of a snow-white trunk toward heaven till the tree could bear no more but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good, both going and coming back. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. We are swingers of birches this summer, going out with the knowledge that we will come down again and hoping to be richer for the experience. Finally, one of the big changes we can look forward to in the fall is that Sharon and I will be returning to this church in a new role as lay ministers. We are eager to try this role on for size. This congregation has shown amazing resilience during the pandemic, with Zoom meetings and hybrid meetings and every other form of community spirit. Will we return to a pre-pandemic normal in the fall? I'm not sure we want to. I think we are building a new normal, one that adapts to current conditions, but leaves room for future change. It takes a whole congregation to make a church. So let's all consider what direction we want to take it in and how each of us will fit into it. In what are perhaps my favorite closing words from the hymnal, our former minister John Brigham tells us to go our ways, knowing not the answers to all things, yet seeking always the answer to one more thing than we know. That's the task I set for myself this summer. One more thing. One more topic for discussion at a future church service. One more new idea on an old topic. One more thought about a way to make the life of our community better. One more person to join us who just needs an invitation to sit beside us on a Sunday morning, or tune in through Zoom. That's my goal for the summer. And I invite you to make a similar goal for yourself as well. If we all spend our time thinking and reflecting and bring back that one more thing, then when we return in the fall, the church will not be the same, and neither will we. My closing words are from Theodore Parker. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living.